Did I miss that? It's been quiet there. Did I miss that? It's been quiet there. Did I miss that? It's been quiet there. It's 7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of April 18th, 2022. 7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of April 18th, 2022. 7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of April 18th, 2022.
Just repeat after me, okay? You can definitely use the
7
one that you
o'clock.
have.
I'll call this meeting of the regular Housing.
Okay. So I, Gordon Hansen, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Richfield, and that I will faithfully execute and discharge the duties of the office of HRA Commissioner of the HRA of the City of Richfield. According to the law and to the best of my ability and understanding, so help me God. Perfect.
Welcome. So at this time, we'll have the open forum. To call into the open forum, I don't have the number in front of me anymore. Do we have that number?
And let's see. And I don't know.
There
We go. You got it.
All right. So the call-in number is 1-415-655-0001. Meeting ID is 24651-420-471. The password is 1234. So we'll hold a minute or two for the open forum, and I'll repeat the number. It's 1-415-655-0001. The meeting ID is 24651-420-471. The password is 1234. Do we have anyone calling in, entering? Give it one more minute here, 30 seconds or so. Is there anyone in the room here for open forum? Got an audience actually today? No? All right. Well, if anyone does call in, please let us know. We will jump back. But at this time, I'll ask for approval of the minutes of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting on March 21st, 2022.
So moved, Commissioner Regan Gonzalez.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
No.
No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The minutes have been approved. First item on our actual agenda then is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion for approval?
I will move the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the agenda. Is there any comments? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The agenda has been approved. Item number 2 is the consent calendar. Staff.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reese Daniels, members of the HRA. The consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the HRA in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended actions have also been approved. No further HRA action on these items is necessary. However, any HRA commissioner may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for HRA discussion and action. All items listed on the consent calendar are recommended for approval. Tonight, the consent calendar contains 2 items. The first, consideration of approval of transfer of funds to 2018-1 and Cedar Avenue Tax Increment Finance Districts for prior year expenses as of December 31st, 2021. Second item, authorization of a contract with Veit and Company, Inc. for the demolition of buildings located at 6501 and 6513 Penn Avenue South. And that concludes the consent calendar.
Thank you.
I will make the motion to approve the consent calendar. Commissioner Regan Gonzalez.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, comments, questions? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That moves us to item number 4 then. Consider a resolution approving preliminary redevelopment agreement with Minnesota Independent College. Staff.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair, members of the HRA. Minnesota Independence Community and College is proposing to construct a new building with 20,000 square feet of office and classroom space and up to 70 affordable housing units on property they own on 76th Street West between Morgan and Newton Avenues. In order to facilitate the project development, MICC is seeking financial assistance from the HRA through the creation of a tax increment financing district and/or with funds from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. MICC is seeking approval of a preliminary redevelopment agreement with the HRA to lay out the steps that need to be taken to move forward with that HRA assistance. The components of the agreement include the fact that MICC and the HRA will explore the use of TIF and/or funding from the trust fund. The city was awarded Livable Communities Demonstration Account funds for the project, including funds to acquire property adjacent to the project at 7532 Morgan Avenue. In exchange for payment of the LCDA acquisition funds, MICC will provide a mortgage for the acquired property to the HRA. In the event that the project doesn't move forward, MICC will either repay the funds or the HRA will obtain ownership of the property. The project will also be seeking low-income housing tax credits to provide equity for the project, along with other state and county resources. Under the agreement, MICC would be asking the HRA's support for these applications. The HRA and MICC will also work towards a contract for private development with a deadline of December 31st, 2022. MICC will submit plans for land use approvals and share those plans with the neighborhood. And finally, the project will comply with the city's inclusionary housing policy. I would just also point out from a timing perspective, because MICC is likely to incur expenses under the LCDA grant before the project has been improved by either you or the council. That's why we want this agreement in place, so that we can have some way of either getting those funds back or obtaining ownership of the property. So with that, I'll answer any questions, and members of the development team from MICC are also here this evening with us.
Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just have a comment. Do you want me to share it now, or? Okay. I just want to say it's so nice to see you. Thank you for coming before us. And I'm so excited that you did get the Livable Communities Demonstration funding. And I'm very excited for this project. It's going to be something that will attract people to Richfield, not just regionally, but nationally as well. And it just shows what it looks like to partner between government, a school and academia and education institution. I know you have a lot of corporate partners as well, and the community. So I'm very excited for this. And then I do have one question. I just wanted to clarify with staff. So essentially the vote tonight is there's multiple different options for support from the HRA, and we're giving you approval to explore those. You'll come back with a final proposal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. That's it. I'm just very excited to support this.
Would you like to make some comments?
Just a very brief comment. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the Commission. I'm Bob Cunningham, and I'm representing MICC this evening. And I just wanted to say thank you for your continued support, and thank you to staff for their continued support. We couldn't do it without you, and we are starting to accelerate our progress. It's slow at first, but we are looking forward to being in front of HRA and the City Council this summer to start with the land use approvals. But getting the LCDA grant was a gigantic first step, and our next big deadline is the tax credits, and so we're working towards that. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. I wanted to keep my comments brief.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Good. Thank you. Oh,
Well, I know that MICC has been a great partner within the community, involved in a lot of community activities, so I think this project shows, the next step of that partnership within Richfield.
Thank you, Commissioner.
all right. Is there a motion for approval?
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion for approval, Commissioner Hanson.
And I will second the motion. And the motion is to approve the attached resolution approving a preliminary redevelopment agreement with MICC for the development of a mixed-use building on West 76th Street between Morgan and Newton Avenues.
Great. It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions? I'll just say thank you again. As everyone else has stated, you've been a fantastic partner in the community, so we really appreciate it and excited to see this move forward and explore some different options. So thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks. All right, that moves us to item number 5. Staff.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reese Daniels, members of the HRA. Beacon Interfaith Housing Collaborative is seeking approval of a preliminary redevelopment agreement with the Housing and Redevelopment Authority to develop approximately 40 units of affordable supportive rental housing on the HRA-owned property located at 6613 to 25 Portland Avenue. The population to be served would include neurodiverse youth and young adults, and supportive housing services would be provided on site. The units would primarily be affordable at 30% of the area median income. Under the terms of the agreement, the HRA and Beacon would agree to the following. Beacon will develop plans and proceed with land use approvals. Both parties will explore the financial feasibility of the project and possible assistance from the HRA in the form of a reduced land price and/or funding from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Negotiations on a contract for private development will be undertaken with a deadline of January 31st, 2023. The HRA will provide Beacon with a right of entry to the property. The HRA will need to hold a public hearing before the land can be sold to Beacon, and the HRA will cooperate with funding applications. And then during the course of this agreement, the HRA will not negotiate with or entertain offers on the property at this time. And I just point out, too, the property contains remnant parcels from the Portland Avenue Roundabout project, and we have been seeking a viable development proposal for the site since 2009. So we're really excited about that this seems like it's going to be a good fit for this property. And Kirsten Spreck is here from Beacon tonight if you have any questions of her. And it's really exciting to bring not one, but 2 affordable housing developments before you this evening. So any other questions, let me know.
Thanks. Anyone have any questions? Yes, go ahead.
In terms of reaching out to the community in the neighborhood, I know that there's a meeting coming up. I guess I don't know if that's also for the community. I guess my question is, what has the outreach to the community for this project been?
And I think I will turn that over to Kirsten to thank you for that reminder of that upcoming event. That is a little different from, they will also, through the land use approvals, have to do a local neighborhood meeting just for adjacent neighbors, but this is something a little different. So.
Sure. Thanks. I'm Kirsten Spreck from Beacon Interfaith Housing Collaborative. Commissioners, we do have an event coming up on April 28th. It is our collaborative of congregations are coming together to share the news that we're pursuing this site and what the development is going to be about. The folks we aim to serve, which will be youth, young adults, and those with neurodiverse conditions. So we're very excited about this site. We think it's a great fit. We love the transit. We love everything about it. So we're excited to take these first steps to really start moving on it. And last week we did submit our first application to Hennepin County for their supportive housing resources.
And Kirsten, that is open to the public, that event? Do you want to describe how people can register?
I think if you go to the Beacon Interfaith Housing Collaborative website, it is called a preview event, and you can register online. And I think Mayor, I think the invitation was extended to you to hopefully
will
get your
be speaking.
perspective. And awesome.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that is one, and then that's one community engagement opportunity, and then there's going to be another one in the future.
Yep, so I believe it, I forget what triggers it in terms of land use approvals, but yes, we would expect them to host a neighborhood meeting, that we'd notice all the people that would get noticed for land use applications.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions this time? Is there a motion?
Yep, I will make the motion to approve the attached resolution approving a preliminary redevelopment agreement with Beacon Interfaith Housing Collaborative for the development of up to 40 units of affordable supportive housing for people at 661325 Portland Avenue.
Your second?
And I will second.
It's been moved and second. Any questions or comments?
I'll just make a comment. I am also very excited about this. Again, one of the things that Richfield gets to do on a regular basis is innovate for so many different reasons, but this is an example of having to innovate or being able to innovate because we have all these small little parcels and oddly shaped parcels, and we put them together and we try to fit something in that, and from that necessity comes really great, again, community collaboration, projects right on the bus line in a great accessible neighborhood with a property that we have been trying to work with, and it's just been so difficult for so long. So another great opportunity for community and great housing, and in partnership with a good community partner.
I agree. I think this is very exciting. Even though we've been sitting on this for a little while, I think this is still the perfect opportunity and really good use of this space. And so I'm just very excited to see this move forward. So, yes.
Yeah, I would agree. The project scores on just so many ways. It's a remnant of property that's been hard to market for other purposes. It's been mentioned, of course, it's right on transit, and the population that this residential housing will serve are people who generally don't have cars. So that accessibility to transit is really key.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That moves us to item number 6. Consider resolution. There we go. Item number 6.
All right, the owners of A World of Fish, located at 1516 66th Street East, have decided to close their business and have approached the HRA about purchasing their building. The executive director and chief building official have conducted an initial inspection of the property, and due to the age of the structure, believe that reuse of the property would be challenging. Historically, the HRA has purchased properties that would be especially challenging to reuse, and those that offer an opportunity for the HRA and city to influence redevelopment in key areas. The property owners are anxious to begin their retirement and would like to move quickly to sell the property. An appraisal of the property is underway, but will not be completed until the end of the month. Staff is requesting that the HRA authorize the executive director to negotiate the purchase of the property for up to an amount equal to 110% of the tax value of the property, and return to the HRA with a final purchase agreement in May. The assessed market value of the property is $503,000. In the past, the HRA has agreed to purchase commercial properties for approximately 110% of the assessed market value, given that the assessed market values, as determined by Hennepin County, reflect the prior year's value and typically lag the real estate market. Conversations with our commercial appraiser confirm that while there are many factors that go into an appraised value, this is a reasonable framework. If purchased, the HRA would hold the site for future redevelopment. If, as expected, the property is determined to be blighted and substandard, something that we will confirm with an inspection, the property will be acquired with funds from the HRA's Housing and Redevelopment Fund, or our pooled TIF. Otherwise, the funding could also come from our development account. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. And our longtime business owners, Ed and Jill, are also here if you have any questions for them.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. And it's a huge loss for our community and the region. Your business is something that people from all over go to. And it's totally understandable. Time to retire, and we get it. But it will be a loss for our community. And I will also say thank you so much for coming to the HRA, because as you can see, when you partner with the HRA, the city and the community of Richfield have a much better chance of having something really exceptional for our community for generations to come, versus really having a little to no power on what goes on that property. And especially in that piece of town, that street, that area is just primed to get redeveloped, and we want to do it in a way that really fits the future of our city and our community. And you are really going to help us do that with this transfer. So I just want to thank you on behalf of the entire community of Richfield. That's a really big deal for our city and our community. And we will miss you, and congratulations, and thank you for all that you've contributed to not just our community, but the region.
Yes, go ahead.
Commissioners, it's wonderful to be able to be here tonight and to speak with you, but I have to say, we've been in Richfield for 48 years with a business that started out with very small beginnings and has grown substantially. And I've heard even from Richfield that A World of Fish has driven out of Richfield people to Richfield and is one of the largest driving forces in Richfield for that. So, and we sense that. We have people from the 5-state area come in to buy fish. We've actually got customers in Alaska that come down and go to the Mall of America and then buy fish and go fly them back to Alaska. People come from Chicago. We're a nationally known store. It's but it's been a joy to be able to do business in Richfield. The water is great.
We know.
We love it, and the fish do too.
Yeah.
And but I really appreciate the police force. I really appreciate the fire department. And just everybody in Richfield has been very, very good to work with. I mean, we wouldn't be here for 48 years if that wasn't the case. Wow. But it's 48 years, and I think it is time for a new chapter for my wife and I. And so we're looking forward to that, and we appreciate your support and help in that. And we do have a vision for Richfield. I've watched the development come with the Target and the Home Depot. And that was really thrilling to see because that area was pretty blighted. And I was worried actually about what's going to happen. And you guys did a great job getting that up and running. And I see a vision similar to the comprehensive plan of putting some restaurants down 66th Street. I'd like to see that happen, and other development that would just upgrade it. And I think it's primed for it right now. So, but thank you very much. I've really just had a great time working with this city. So, wonderful. And I really hope that things go well from here on and that we can be a part of it. Absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any?
Well, I would just concur with the sentiments expressed here tonight, is that I really hate to see you go because you are a destination business. And I always think these kind of unique independent shops like yours kind of builds the character of the community at large, and I really appreciate the role of the independent business person in doing that. But I certainly understand the lure of retirement, and wish you well in that, and thank you for the 48 years, and wish you well in the future.
I will tack on. I agree. I'm sad you're retiring and leaving, and you've clearly made a great impact not only here in the community, but in a much larger effect as well. So I much appreciate that. I do have some questions for staff, though. So when the HRA buys it, I assume this comes off the tax roll then?
We do request tax exemption status.
And so the current taxes being paid on are about $16,000 a year, according to the Hennepin County website. How significant is that to a tax burden to the rest of the community, right? Because as that comes off the tax rolls, everybody else's comes up a little bit.
It does, but, I don't know off the top of my head, is it $20, $30 million tax base, and this is a very small portion of that.
That's what I was wondering, yes, what our kind of overall was and what kind of portion this makes up, so.
Right, and then, of course, the city's portion is just a third of that,
Okay.
right? I mean, the schools as well, but, yeah.
Okay. And as we have talked about, redevelopment and what kind of could be the possibility, I know it's currently zoned for community commercial, and the 2040 comp plan also has it, or sorry, zoned for general commercial, but the comp plan has it for community commercial. Have we thought about what could be, is it future commercial? I mean, I'm assuming if we've zoned it for that and done long-range planning, that we are anticipating wanting that to be commercial.
Yep, we hold out for that. We get a lot of housing developers these days coming in our doors and looking, and we own some other parcels along 66th Street. Eventually they're going to connect and, allow us to do some stuff. But we say, well, mixed use would certainly be okay, but we really need to have some areas that are commercial. And we feel community commercial is more appropriate, given we've got the regional down at the end, right? That's sort of the anchor, and this sort of lends itself well for smaller, more locally oriented commercial businesses, but certainly restaurants are something that we would look for. But the commercial market's not great right now, but that's where I think we can afford to be a little bit patient and wait for something that really works well, and potentially assemble with other properties as owners might be willing to sell over time.
Do you anticipate needing, the parcel size where it is, that we would continue growing and picking up other around there to make anything really viable?
I think that would be the hope, and/or if a developer came along and had purchased an adjacent property, then we can work together on something to assemble. Yes, exactly. It would be challenging. I mean, part of the challenge right now is just the parking. There isn't, there's just very few spots, and they collide with the right-of-way.
Anybody, any other questions? All right, is there a motion?
Yep, I can make the motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the executive director to negotiate a purchase agreement regarding the property located at 1516 66th Street East.
And I will second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us to the HRA discussion items. Is there any HRA discussion items?
I guess I'll just say it's been neat to see the acquisition of a few properties, commercial properties. We hear from residents all the time, why are you building new stuff when we need to, redevelop some of our blighted commercial? And I think that we have hit that tipping point where now we are getting into the space where folks are saying it is financially beneficial to acquire some of the properties, and now, doing as much as we can to make sure that that's done very intentionally and in a way that fits Richfield, and not just putting up boxes that could be anywhere else in the country. But it does seem like we're past that, and even just a few years ago we weren't. So I think the community will be excited to see that, and how do we do it in a way that continues to foster small businesses in that process, because that can be a casualty and a difficulty. So we'll have some challenges.
Yeah, I agree. And I think as we have seen some of the loss of the other small kind of commercial space, as we kind of have been building other things, I think it's important to try to keep that space open and kind of grow where we can, that is affordable, right, too. We have the same needs for affordable small business, so excellent. All right, is there executive director's report?
I would just mention that we do have a couple of work sessions coming up. Just a reminder, the Legion will be coming on April 26th before the city council meeting to talk about their proposed Veterans Village. And then on May 10th, before the council meeting, we're going to be doing some planning on what we call the Mathwig properties, the EcoSmart property that we were gifted, another property we own, and then the Metro Sales property, and wanting to look at, what can we expect there. So working with a planning firm to help us have our dreams grounded in reality as we hear developers come in and saying what they want to do, and just to make sure we know what we want first. So look forward to both those sessions with your attendance as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. That moves us to claims. Is there a motion to approve the claims?
I will move claims.
And I will second.
It's been moved and seconded for claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. With that, I will consider us adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
That's